Sweet. Um,
By the way, can you hear stuff in the background or no?
no.
Okay, cool. Because the drying machine is going on, so I couldn't know. But yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, no, don't worry, don't worry. So you met David through the free Facebook group. How is that going? Like, are you doing a project together, or what's the relationship there, or just met each other?
So I think I was doing like some couple of posts. Like basically, I've like been kind of like on and off wholesaling since like January. And I got like some couple of deals, and basically David kind of reached out as like, like a gator lender. And then so I jumped on a call with him around it was like March, May, around like that time period.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I kind of just like talked to him what I was doing, and I kind of mentioned that I come from a technical background. Like
Yeah.
you probably saw my LinkedIn profile. Like it's very like
Yep.
technical based.
100%. Yep.
And so I think he just found it really interesting that's like, why is a technical person cold calling? Uh, so that was kind of funny, but like so that kind of like impressed him. And then I was kind of like talk like what I was doing with like, some of the AI stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
honestly, it's like come from a technical background, like it's definitely impressive, like the AI stuff, but it's like not incredibly hard to integrate
Yeah.
personally. But I think the stuff you can do with that new tools that are available, I think is really awesome. And so basically that's kind of like how kind of we started that relationship, and kind of like I think I gravitated towards him because he has like a good network, and I think he kind of like gravitated towards me in terms of like I have kind of like I'm able to build systems and tools that can just help automate things. And I think now I'm kind of like more realizing, okay, this might be something I should probably be doing more rather than cold calling, or, maybe doing like the outbound, like wholesaling stuff. It's not to say that like I'm too good for that. I don't think I'm too good for anything, but like I think, with this skill set that maybe not many people in this industry have, I think it's something that could be leveraged more than how I currently am using it now.
100%. I mean, you can even hire a cold caller, and pay them
Right.
like $5 per hour for someone from like Latin America, from the Philippines or whatever, and you focus on like a higher like pay grade activities, so your business goes forward faster, probably.
Right, right. And like there's like some other things that like have just come to mind. Like the more I've kind of like explored, like this business side, and I'm really grateful to actually have been doing like the cold calling stuff myself, just because, you know, it seems to be like an interesting merge. I think you've probably realized this as well. It's like there's real estate, and then there's like the tech world. It it's not usual that they like go and overlap. People in the tech world stay in the tech world, or if they do venture into real estate, they're not cold calling.
No, yeah, yeah.
Like, like I don't think they've actually gone down into the weeds and done that. Like
Yeah.
most people probably haven't. So it's like, being able to see like both sides and what actually goes on in like the like deal finding aspect is like you have like acquisitions, outbound, you have some inbound leads, you have like the dispo side. It's
Yeah.
like it's just two halves of like a company that like, and then the dispo side, people who tend to forget, but it's like I think there's a lot of opportunity for automation there. In like, because right now, we you've probably experienced this. Like you see like, oh, someone posts on Facebook, here's the deal, and they're like a million emails. And
Yeah.
it's like you that person has to go copy those emails one by one. Like literally, or they can maybe just find some like plugin to like scrape them. But like,
Yeah.
they're getting those emails, and then like how do you manage that effectively with your tools? And like there's tools that go high level, but it's like how many people who use that tool actually know how to integrate everything into like, let's say, one button click for a dispo.
Yeah.
Like maybe the button triggers email blast plus, SMS
Yep.
and follow-ups, and also qualifies buyers with like GPT.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm pretty excited that I met someone who speaks the same language, that I do. Love it. And yeah, a lot of friends who are like in the tech industry, they either take two paths, usually because the tech industry is a high paying job.
Right.
They stay working at Meta, Google, like whatever, and just begin buying houses. So wholesaling basically is another high paying job. It's still a job, you know, it's pretty active, a lot of rotations. Managing salespeople is a thing, you know, you gotta hire and fire and train. And then it's pretty common that someone joins your team, works and learn with you for 2 months, and then they become your competition, you know, like same market, same everything. So it's a hustle that never stops. The day you stop wholesaling, like your revenue drops. So the end game for most people is like becoming an investor, right? And buying properties, getting cash flow. And there are many ways to accomplish this. But yeah, a lot of people in tech industry, they keep their W2 making like 3, 4, 5K TC, and that's pretty dope. And then just begin buying properties creatively. So just pay like a 30K down for 350,000 house, and then they turn that into like a midterm rentals for insurance companies. So when someone gets a claim, they go into a house, or like they turn that into an Airbnb, or like there are many exit strategies, and we can talk about them in a sec. So that's one thing. And then some other people leave their W2 in the tech world and become like join full-time real estate, and they see what you're seeing, like lots of like manual things, you know, people using virtual assistants for everything, you know, like copy and paste this thing, you know, send these emails. Like this drives me crazy because there is so much opportunity there. So yeah, I mean, both paths are pretty cool, and can be taken pretty, and like with set tech skills, you can do a lot of things pretty quickly and test out a lot of things, and then focus on like specific exit strategies. For example, so one thing is to build like disposition for like deals, as you said, right? Like a scraping, like email accounts from the Facebook posts or whatever, comments or whatever. But something more specific could be like, hey, I will go and find wrap buyers. Do you know what a wrap is by any chance?
Yeah, I know what a rep is.
Yeah, so I will go and I will like get private money lending, buy properties subject to from other like subject students probably, and then just have automations to go and find people who do not have credit, self-employed, uh doesn't have a social security yet. They're still working on their immigration status, so it's pretty hard for them to get a traditional loan. So you buy, like you find them, and then you show this house, and then just out of like being this intermediary, you get a, I don't know, like 5 or 10K profit at the beginning, and then you keep a note for like 300 to 500 bucks per month for 3 years, which is pretty good, right? Just to connect people to dispose that property. So that's another strategy. I mean, you can do so many things with the skill sets that we have. Probably is more the question like, who are you and like what are you looking for? Like what do you want to do, and then just find a path towards that. Because the hard thing about real estate is that there is so many
Right.
ways to be successful. So you get shiny object syndrome, you know, so you start building this system and then jump into another one, and then a year goes on, and you never went like the full cycle of deploying that, getting users, testing that, iterating like the features and those things, right? So that's the hardest thing about real estate.
Right. Yeah. No, I've definitely experienced that myself a lot. Like even I'm doing it now. You're not even just with real estate, just like exploring like new technologies and just like, just learning like more about it. Like I've gone like I've bounced around like a lot. Just like this, it's good, but it's also bad. Like there's so many things that are like interesting to me in the technology space that I get pulled in like many very like a lot of directions. And it's like I obviously can't do like I can do it, but like I can't do any of those effectively, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it's like
100%.
it's like I can, like you mentioned, even just in the real estate space, you could focus on like the acquisitions. Maybe you focus on outbound, or maybe you focus on like nurturing inbound leads, or you focus on that. But like trying to do everything is ends up being pretty difficult. And I've done like everything, even by myself, and it's just like even that's difficult. So it's like, yeah, specializing in one thing honestly is definitely the way to go. And if you don't mind me asking, like, what do you specialize in?
Yeah. Just before like closing the previous thought, like but don't worry about trying different things. This is the right stage in our lives, like to try different things before you specialize in something. I mean, you're still going to college, right? um and you start doing internships, like this is the time to try everything. So go for it. And for me, so what I do, I joined Sub 2 but like a little bit more than a year ago, and then I was thinking like, well, in real estate, you can do so many things. If you're a great like salespeople, just like jump on the phone and close deals that someone generated with through their VAs. If you are good with, if you have money, you can go and lend or you can go and buy. If you already have some experience and cash flow, you can just jump into other asset classes like self-storage, multifamily, different things. And I was like, okay, so what I'm good at, I don't know. And I was like, oh, technology. I mean, I don't have a C like computer science degree, but I self-taught me how to code in like Python and SQL. So I was like, okay, I can provide value this way and kind of go and learn from like large operations, right? Because one thing is go on your own, like against the world, and then something else is like go with someone and they will be teaching you like this is bluff, don't worry about this, let's focus on this, because they already have some experience in there, right? So they can read different pains like quicker. So I did that, and I been working with two subject students who are leaders in like have their own accountability groups in California, one in North California and other one in South California. Um, so I've been doing that with them and late just trying to like automate their business. And I get like an agreement that every deal that happens through the automations that I build, I will get a fee, like a percentage on the profit. So that's one thing. So we both are motivated to like, I gotta build good systems. So I get paid, but they also gotta tell me like what actually moves the needle. So that's one thing pretty good. The only problem with that is that you kind of depend on other people. So you can have a great automation, but if the employees of that company do not use them properly or do not use them at all, so you can have a dialer, but they're using their own phone call. The phone number is like bro, like yeah. So that's a problem. It might be a little bit frustrating to depend on other people who have their own lives, their own W2s and their own things. So that's one thing. And lately I've been learning more about wraps. I was like, so a pretty good like beginning strategy to get into real estate investing is doing the wraps, right? Because you don't have any calls at 10 p.m. like, hey, something broke in the house. Please send someone to fix it. Just sell the house. So by selling the house, it's their like they are the owners. They gotta take care of the house. But you do keep some cash flow for a long period of time. The only problem with wraps is that since you don't own the property, you don't get depreciation from the property. So at some point, you will begin getting like a big chunk of income that you will have to begin buying properties to decrease the taxes that you're paying, right? So that's what I'm doing lately. I mean, still working with the sub two students, leaders, but that's more like a great strategy to have direct access to them. It's like people that like, I don't know, like 1,000 people send them DMs, but they're pretty busy to respond to all of them. Whereas I can just be like, hey, let's jump on a call. I have a question about my personal, like whatever I'm doing, and they'll just jump in the call. They'll come to my wedding and different things. So, yeah, we just like building tech for them. I'm getting paid, but also I'm building a pretty good relationship with a high level player. That's like the most value that I'm getting from that. And for the wraps, I'm getting started meeting other people who bought properties, and I can find a wrap buyer for them and get paid like 5K, 10K. to find them like someone who is looking for a owner finance house. And then after I do two or three of them, I will probably begin buying my own. So in the same city, because I already have some sort of like a buyer's list and like kind of know what marketing strategies work, what doesn't, and those things. So I can feel pretty confident to go with a private money lender and be like, hey, let me borrow like a 30K for the down payment of the house plus like a 2 or 3 months of like holding costs, and then I will go and sell this house, and then we can either I can pay you an interest or we can share the cash flow for the like the note, right? So if it's like we can go 50-50 or like 70-30 depending on what they bring to the table. But yeah, that's where I'm going to transition into. um and then for the things that I'm already working with the like sub two students, uh, I will probably take more like a project manager, product manager role. And then we can just bring like one or two Python developers from wherever and just keep building features and different things, but I can guide them through what has to be built. So yeah, that's what I'm focused on right now. But I mean, I see a lot of other opportunities in different spaces. So right now in sub two is like getting a trend of people buying businesses,
Oh
uh
yeah.
and then just go and do like a value add. So like build automations, build different things. You have like a the operations more like a well-oiled machine, and marketing, so many things that has to be done in a like old business, that hasn't been like doesn't have a website, doesn't have a YouTube, doesn't have anything at all. That's a great opportunity because people will be buying those businesses and they need someone to like uh help them automate processes. Another thing will be like self-storage, but I mean that's a pretty nice asset class because what people want is buy a storage unit and then well, a storage like park, right, with a lot of units, um and build automations to just have one employee paid by the hour, but everything like all the sales, everything will be happening through the website, and like connecting the logs to like the database of who has paid, if they don't pay, update something, like there is so many things um that you can jump from. Like each asset class has their own challenges that can be solved with technology. And as you know, like everything is doable in the technology space, everything is doable, but not everything is worth building. Like not
Right.
everything will like get you compensated fairly. And it's like a learning curve. Like that's something that I'm learning, like where to invest my time, because people will be like, oh yeah, I love what you do, come help me, blah blah blah. But then as you think more about their business model, it's like this is zero scalable, like I'm like Ferrari um fuel. I can allow anyone to scale pretty fast and build like pretty amazing things, and we can hire more people to do like the like nitty-gritty, and then I can point them in the right direction. But if your goal is just to be like I don't know, like a Volkswagen, whatever, low, like entry low Volkswagen is like, I mean, you can use my fuel. I will burn the same, but we both will take just to certain place. Whereas if I find those Ferraris, I will be more of a blessing to them, and we all be better compensated, right? So I will not be pressuring, like I will not be adding pressure to the Volkswagen to be like, we need to go faster, we need to make like a bigger decisions, because they don't want to do that. They want to prioritize like spending time with their family, or like taking it slow, just having one or two employees, like chill, just want do one or two deals, because a lot of people don't need to make the money. like they have like already have a lot of properties with cash flows, or they're making a lot of money for so it's just more like a hobby, right? Like a nice hobby just to stay on the game. That's really common. So I'm learning how to identify those people, like who is hungry to build something that can scale and willing to invest the time and place a discipline in the team to build something the like a tech startup, like fast paced thing. We cannot It's like the difference between someone with a like a tech startup mindset and someone with a mom and pop shop mindset.
Right.
You can build automations for both, but one of them will take you further and you will learn more, you will have more fun, you will have more budget to try different things. That's what I've been learning lately.
And that makes sense. Like I kind of like I come from that same like mindset where, or maybe it's just me. This might be like I'm not sure how hot of a take this might be, but I feel like I think you kind of touched on this where like I feel like a lot of people don't treat real estate as a business, they treat it more of as a hobby. Like that's kind of like what it seems like. And I mean, I kind of understand in a sense because like if you have a W-2, which most people do actually, it's hard to treat as a business because you already have a 40 hours plus taken away
Yeah,
every single week, which is completely understandable. But I mean, and to be fair, treating real estate as a hobby and you want, some cash flow, I mean, that's completely fine.
yeah,
But I think what we are trying to do, I guess me and you, like we're, we want to essentially put like, fuel into a business or allow it to unlock scale. Unlocking scale for mom and pop is maybe adding two other houses versus unlocking scale for a large business, whether it's a wholesaler, whether it's, I don't know, it might be a large chain of laundromats or
yeah, yeah,
large self-storage facility, large, not even real estate related, large business that's doing XYZ thing. The opportunities, the same automation for them is going to be worth much more than it is for a mom and pop. Like let's say like
yeah,
outbound lead automation for mom and pop, that might result in an extra, say 5 houses a year buy.
yeah,
Cool. But for like a large wholesaler, that might be an extra 5 houses per month.
yep, yep.
Just worth a lot more.
100%, 100%. And then if you get paid by commission of what your systems produce, like you gotta focus on the ones that will get five per month, right? Because you want
Right,
to get paid per month, not the ones sometime like in 6 months or something like that. So
right,
that's
yeah.
that's a challenge for people like us I mean, not like us, like with the skill set that we have, how to be wise on choosing who to partner with, or who to work with, and uh who to invest the time with. But of course, you can talk with everyone because like everyone will share a lot of wisdom to you and share different things. Um, but yeah, it's a matter of like I think it can save you a lot of frustration, because if you have clear expectations, like, hey, I'm looking for this type of business, this type of scale. Are you looking for the same? And are you willing to commit on your part of the job, like in the sales side, to achieve this result? If it's a yes, that's great. If it's not, it's like, fine, I'll be around to help you. I can guide you in whatever, but I will not be the one building your systems, investing like 90% of my time into these because I know our expectations are not aligned. I mean, we can be friends, we can be best friends, but probably not I cannot work on your company at this stage in my life. Maybe later, if I have an agency and I have 20 developers, I can send one of my developers to build your small automations or like whatever. Um, and since I'm just paying by the hour, whatever, like there will be a positive return on investment. But before I do that, if I invest in my own time, I have to be like a sniper, like choosing where to put like each bullet, so we can take the most, like everyone can benefit the most from this.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely like, yeah, especially like the time aspect for me, I think is really important. Like, I mean, I'm only 21, and it's like, oh, people might say I have the most time in the world, but for me, I feel like I have no time.
Definitely.
Like
And yeah, I mean,
like
the internships that you have done, like show that you like prepare for the interview, go through the whole process. It's like you gotta be busy to get those things, like and be learning about like so many different things and all of those things. So I totally understand that you do not have much time.
yeah, so I guess it kind of makes like my time like a little like some I put like a value on my time, kind of like what you mentioned, like I don't want my time to necessarily be wasted. I don't think talking with people is like waste of time anyway, but I think you're kind of right in that you know you'll help people, but like in terms of like fully fleshing out their systems, it's just not really worth at like a smaller scale.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Like that's yeah, that's definitely kind of like what how I think. In terms of what I want to do, I'm still definitely, exploring, but I think in the business automation space, that's kind of like where I want to be. I think that I think we both agree that there's definitely a lot of room and a lot of work to be done there. And maybe eventually, like I've even thought about this, buying properties in like Ohio. So like my background, I'm from Seattle. In
Okay.
Washington, that's like $1 million houses are like a 2-1 or something.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not that bad, but it's like just a normal house is like $1 million. So like, that's a little bit out of my price range right now, but like compare that to like Ohio or somewhere in the Midwest where it's like a tenth of the price. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I can put a down payment on this and like make something work. So
yeah,
like I'm kind of thinking like going over there and maybe not living there necessarily, but like, maybe investing there via out of state could be interesting. And I guess kind of like yourself, right? Like maybe do this automation stuff to build up some like cash flow or something to then put into like properties
yeah.
or some other like investment class, whether it might be like a business or something else. And yeah, actually, small little tidbit when you mentioned by businesses, I actually pulled a list of businesses in Washington and I actually ended up cold calling them. I there personally, if I were going to be cold calling again, I would cold call businesses, not homeowners.
Interesting. Why? Why is that?
It's much easier. So instead of having a homeowner be called 20 times a day by different wholesalers, it's a business that
They have to
typically,
be friendly because it's possibly a client or something, or what?
yes. So I guess there's two sides to this. A, it's probably going to be employee and you leave a message. Or B, if the owner picks up, that tells you one thing. Or it doesn't necessarily tell you, but it indicates that A, their business doesn't have enough margin for them to hire out an employee, which is why they're still working there. So they will probably at least take a look at an offer that's like, hey, I will retire you if you sell or finance this to me, give you a paycheck every single month. And, I will just come in here as an operator and basically like automate the heck out of it and then produce enough cash flow to then hire people out. I mean, of course, that the caveat is that that would require you to like actually operate the business, but like
Yeah,
in the event that you could, it's like, well, you're kind of like actually providing a solution to them there, right? you know
yeah.
Maybe this owner operator doesn't want to operate the business they've had for like 15 years now, and now someone's saying, oh yeah, I can buy this business from you, and you will be retired essentially, versus before they didn't have enough margin in their business, they didn't know what to do, they didn't know how to scale. Here you come in, I will be the operator, I will scale this, I'm like the new blood coming in, and I will like I'll give you a paycheck every single month.
Nice, nice. And how do you find those like a list of like businesses, or what do you do?
You can just scrape the Google Maps,
Okay, cool. Uh,
like you
yeah,
have the phone numbers right there.
yeah. You can also use just the API, and get like the full list
Yeah,
and paginate, or scrape that. I mean, I'm pretty. I love scrapers. I do a lot of them. So yeah.
yeah, you can like scrape it honestly doesn't really matter. Honestly, the ones with less reviews are better with like
Okay.
the super unoptimized Google My Business profiles, because like they're probably not getting a whole lot of leads from there. So it's like that's like just a super easy like way to just like boost like a local what's it like a local profile and like a tangent to that actually. One thing I've kind of been looking a lot more into is like local SEO for like wholesaling or just for lead generation. Like if you think about like a local plumbing business, right? They'll get free leads from Google.
Yeah.
Like this is nothing new that I'm saying. It's just like something I've like thought about more is like, can I just make like a website and like Google My Business and optimize those like a lot to where I just get free leads? And that is a thing that people do.
Yeah.
And like there are companies like Carrot, it's called like Carrot like investor websites or something that they just make those. So it's like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of like really interesting. Like, how can I use my tech skills to build like an evergreen lead source of just inbound leads?
Yeah. And you can
Even though
sell
that,
those leads, you don't
right,
have to do anything with them or JV on them. Just send them to like a an acquisition team and they will handle from there and be like, hey, so just for bringing motivated lead, I will get like 30% of the deal, 20%
right,
of the deal. So you just build like an integration to their CRM and Slack, pretty
right,
easily.
right,
I mean, it will take you one day to build the integration. And yeah, that's one way. I mean, a lot of people have tried to provide that as a service. However, it's pretty hard to build like 10 websites SEO optimized, like do all of those things. Where if you build one and you get the leads, you just gotta like send those to the right people, probably local. And there are a lot of like inside shop too. There are a lot of like pretty solid closers. And you can find like one for Texas, one for California, one for like Georgia, and whatever you need, right? So yeah, there is also a website called I let me try to search it. I speed I speed to lead dot
oh yeah,
com.
yeah,
Yeah, so they sell like PPC leads. And that's like a lot of people buy them, buy like a 300 leads or whatever and just call them and see what happens and those things. So that's definitely a good business model that you can try out. Build a website and do SEO. Once that's really optimized, you can just add ads like Google ads for that SEO that you built and do this little post and yeah, send that. I mean, and with the desk like with the skills that you have, you can do pretty dope things like if they fill out the contact form but they do not fill out like scheduled time to jump on a call,
right.
you can
Take
start the
time.
call immediately from the closer to them, ring the closer's phone and then ring the person's phone. So within like 2 minutes they'll be on the phone with someone, right? Or texting them using like an AI, like a chatbot, just to try to disqualify the person. And if they come through the whole process, you can refer that to a closer, close the deal, and that's all set. So there are many ways that you can build around real estate and monetize those things. The
Right.
hardest thing, as I said at the beginning, is like to be a sniper, to focus one and
Really
test that
hard.
out for like 3 months and be
That's
like, okay, yeah,
but here's one more idea. This is something like I think before our time is up here, where this is not even sniper method. I just thought about this. So, bandit signs, right?
yeah,
Like people put them up and then they get taken down. That's nothing new. But I was thinking around like the other days, like there's billboards, right? And billboards typically work on like they go to the owner of a property, they say, hey, we're gonna put this like post here, like, or will you allow us to put this post here? We'll give you X amount per month. And like owner says yes or no. And then I'm thinking, why doesn't I haven't seen anyone do that yet with wholesaling signs, like a we buy houses sign. Like I'm thinking going around like my local area, high visibility, privately owned properties, like a house, say, like on a corner lot, say, hey, I will pay you X amount per month if you allow me to put like my sign here. And it's like a we buy houses sign. And like at that point, it's like no one can take it down because it's on private property. And like I'm
yeah,
paying the owner to put it there. And it's just free visibility that, I don't have to worry about it being taken down. And it's like super local, right?
yeah,
Because it's just
yeah,
we buy houses in this town or whatever and surroundings. It's just a physical sign. And
yeah,
I feel like that's like no one, it's not scalable, but I think the beauty of it is that it's not scalable, if that makes sense. Like it's
So
very
no, yeah,
localized.
yeah,
So like I was thinking like that, and also like you've like probably you've seen them like if you go to like a supermarket, when you go to the bathroom, there's like a billboard or like a board of like just like ads, whatever, paying for a spot right there.
yeah,
Like just super low tech solutions. Like it's completely the opposite of what we're doing, but it's like low tech solutions that aren't scalable but are hyper localized to get like local, like super local leads, which
yeah,
is I guess where I'm going with all of this is like less saturated lead sources. Because
100%. Yeah, and you can add tag like you can add tag to those like low tech solutions. So the
oh,
phone number can be routed to like a tracking which flyer or which ad is being displayed. And now when they call that phone number, you can route these. Like I'm thinking more like in the wrap buyers. I mean, that could be pretty dope for wrap buyers. Like you can go to certain places, certain supermarkets, certain, for example, place that outside a construction place, like where they get, I don't know, outside Home Depot or whatever,
yeah,
Um,
tipo en español también.
ajá, claro, claro. Entonces, so yeah, that's like a dope strategy. And then when they call, you can be like, hey, thank you for your interest, blah, blah, blah. I will text you like a link to like get to know more of you, whatever. So with a link to a form, like how much down payment you have, how much like a um down payment, monthly budget, whatever. And then if they don't like, once they click the link, you can retarget them through Facebook ads. You have some sort of contact with them, and you can do so many things. So you can like send a low tech solution into more like a techie solution, but it will be pretty targeted. So you are really like conservative on your budget on those like ads, right?
Right.
So I mean that the thing that you say is like that would be pretty dope for finding rap buyers. Like really good, really good.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it's like just stuff like that that I'm thinking is like, where can I get lead sources that are unsaturated that no one else is doing? And actually, you mentioned PPC. The other day, I was looking in my inbox. There are people who are running PPC ads in Gmail.
Nice.
No, like I never even considered that. I'm like, holy shit.
Like
Like,
they add on the
yeah,
upper or like on
yeah,
the side. Yeah.
on the
Wow.
upper part.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
they are putting, I'm like, is there like cold email is not new. That thing's been around since like dinosaurs were around, but cold email for like a wholesaling or like even real estate leads, like no one is doing that. Or at least no one is publicly saying that they're doing that. Most people it's like cold calling and texting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pretty dope. Yeah, so many things to try. And I'll be around if you need anything. Like just shoot me a DM or whatever. And or if you ever want to do like a hackathon or like a coding session, also down for that. And yeah, let's see what we can build together and do some deals together. That's most important thing.
That is the most important thing. But yeah, I'll definitely be reaching out in the future. But thank you for your time, Armando.
Yeah, happy to help.
Okay. Well, yeah. Talk to you
Take
later.
take care, brother.